Guys, Dimension Master Studios here. How y'all doing? So I'm sure as you guys know, Season 2 of Dragons Rising is coming out in a few days. And with Season 2 of Dragons Rising right around the corner, I decided that I wanted to take a look at a bunch of the stuff that we've gotten so far for Dragons Rising Season 2, and I wanted to go over some of the stuff that I'm looking forward to for Season 2, as well as some of the stuff that I'm not really looking forward to, and explain why I am looking forward to some things and why I'm not looking forward to other things. I'm going to be going over 3 things from each, and like I said, I'm going to be explaining why I am and why I am not looking forward to certain things for Season 2 of Dragons Rising. Now, before I start the video, there is one thing that I do want to say, and it's that this video will contain spoilers for Season 2 of Dragons Rising, because I will be taking a look at information that we've been given from the set descriptions, the episode descriptions, as well as stuff like pictures and footage from episodes that haven't been released in English yet. So please keep that in mind. Again, this video will contain spoilers for Season 2 of Dragons Rising, but with all that out of the way, let's get into this whole thing. So, starting off on the positive side of things, something that I'm really looking forward to when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising is the stuff with Kai. I feel like after Lloyd, Kai was definitely the ninja that was handled the best during Season 1 of Dragons Rising, because I thought Kai was really great during Season 1. I think it was great that Kai got a lot of focus during Season 1, plus he got a lot of stuff to do, which I thought was pretty great, and I feel like Kai got some pretty great character work during Season 1 of Dragons Rising. And something that I'm honestly really looking forward to is Season 2 of Dragons Rising doing more stuff with Kai, because it looks like Season 2 of Dragons Rising is going to be pretty Kai-focused, which is something that I am honestly really looking forward to, and I can't wait to see what Season 2 of Dragons Rising is going to be doing with Kai. It looks like we're going to see a continuation of Kai's dynamic with Wildfire, which was one of my favorite parts of Season 1 of Dragons Rising, so that's something I'm really looking forward to. It looks like we're going to be getting some stuff with Kai learning the Rising Dragon technique, which I'm looking forward to. And based on the way things are looking for the end of Part 1, it looks like we're going to be getting a big sacrifice from Kai during the final episode of Part 1 of Dragons Rising. And when it comes to everything with Kai, again, I am really looking forward to what we're going to be getting with him during Season 2 of Dragons Rising. Moving on to something that I am not looking forward to, though, something about Season 2 of Dragons Rising that I'm not really looking forward to is the stuff with Jay. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, but I did not like how Jay was handled during Season 1 of Dragons Rising, with him getting barely anything to do during the season. Personally, I found that to be very underwhelming and incredibly unsatisfying, mainly because when it came to Jay during Season 1 of Dragons Rising, he was not a character in any real way during Season 1, but instead he was just a plot device, and if I can be honest with you guys, I think he was a pretty bad plot device considering that we learned practically nothing about Jay during Season 1 of Dragons Rising. So while I am happy that when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising, it looks like we are going to be getting more stuff with Jay, something that I'm not really looking forward to is the stuff that Jay is going to be getting is a villain story. Now, personally, this is something that I'm not really looking forward to for 2 big reasons. For starters, something that I really want to see with Jay is him being a ninja and him fighting alongside the rest of the team. So I don't really like that the first major thing that we're getting with Jay is not that, and instead he's going to be an antagonist and he's going to be fighting against the ninja, meaning that we have to wait even longer to see Jay as a ninja again and seeing him fighting alongside the rest of the team. And something that I'm honestly really worried about is that the show is going to drag this thing out until Season 3, meaning that yet again we're going to have to wait even longer to finally see Jay as a ninja again, which again, that's something that I'm honestly not really looking forward to. But the other big reason why I'm really not looking forward to Jay's villain storyline is because I'm honestly really worried that Jay's villain storyline for Dragons Rising is just going to be a repeat of the Ice Emperor story. And the reason why I say that is because even though we don't have a lot of information to go off of at this point when it comes to Jay's villain story, I've already started to notice a lot of similarities between the stuff going on with Jay and the Ice Emperor story. with both stories revolving around one the ninja getting separated from the rest of the team and them ending up in some kind of mysterious alternate realm where they end up losing their memories as a result of some kind of evil entity, and that evil entity places the ninja into some kind of position of power, and the ninja ends up embracing their new identity as a result of them not remembering who they were, and the ninja starts acting in a way that they wouldn't normally act, and they start doing things that they wouldn't normally do, and they end up acting as an antagonist for a bit with them fighting against the rest of the ninja. That is until the ninja ultimately remembers everything about who they were and they become a good guy yet again. Now, yes, not everything is one-to-one, and it's entirely possible that when it comes to the storyline that Jay's going to get as a villain, it could be something completely different from the Ice Emperor story. But again, based on everything that I have seen so far, I've already started to notice a lot of similarities between Jay's villain story and the Ice Emperor story, and personally, I think it would be really underwhelming if the first major thing that we got with Jay in Dragon's Rising was a repeat of something that we already saw with Zane 5 years ago. Now, I could be totally wrong about this whole thing, and the thing that Jay could end up getting as a bad guy could be completely different, but either way, again, I'm just really not looking forward to Jay getting a villain story during Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, especially after Jay barely getting anything during Season 1 of Dragon's Rising. Moving on from this, another thing that I'm really looking forward to when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising is more stuff with Lord Roz. Roz was by far my favorite new character that we got during Season 1 of Dragon's Rising, and I cannot wait to see more of him during Season 2 of Dragon's Rising. During Season 1 of Dragon's Rising, I thought it was really interesting seeing Roz as being this really mysterious and intimidating presence all throughout the season, with him essentially controlling a lot of the stuff that the villains did for a majority of the season, and him doing all the stuff that he did during the season as a way to help out his mysterious master. And it looks like Season 2 of Dragon's Rising is going to be expanding on that, and it looks like we're going to be learning more information about Roz's master, as well as more information about Roz himself, which is something that I honestly think is legitimately really interesting. I'm also wondering what Roz's dynamic is going to be with the other villains during the season, like Jordana, Cinder, and the Forbidden Five. It's something that I'm honestly really looking forward to. Plus, I'm also wondering what Roz's dynamic is going to be with the ninja, considering that we never really got a chance to see that during Season 1 of Dragon's Rising, outside of a few different occasions where he fought against Eren and Sora, and that was it. So again, this is something that I'm really looking forward to, and really, I'm just looking forward to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising expanding more on Roz's character, and hopefully we get a chance to learn more about him during Season 2. It's something that I'm honestly really looking forward to, and out of all the villains that we're going to be getting during Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, out of all of them, Roz is definitely the one that I am the most interested in. Moving on from this, though, something that I'm not really looking forward to when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising is the ninja team splitting up. This is something that I brought up a lot when it came to Season 1 of Dragon's Rising, but something that I really didn't like when it came to Season 1 was the ninja team constantly splitting up all throughout the season. Personally, that is something that I really didn't like for a few different reasons. For starters, I feel like the ninja team constantly splitting up made the team feel less like a team during the season, given how much they were constantly doing everything separately. But also, to me, it felt really weird seeing the ninja team being so willing to split apart from each other, considering that, as we learned during the season, the ninja team spent years being separated from one another. So in my opinion, it felt kind of weird that the ninja were so willing to just separate from one another after spending so much time apart from each other. And a major plot point of Season 1 of Dragon's Rising revolved around the idea of the original six ninja finally reuniting and working together after all this time. So again, the ninja team constantly splitting up during the season, it's something that personally I wasn't really the biggest fan of, and honestly, I'm not really looking forward to the ninja team splitting up again when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising. However, another big reason why I'm not really looking forward to the ninja team splitting up is that it looks like when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, we're getting the exact same kind of team composition that we got with Season 1 of Dragon's Rising when it comes to the original ninja. And what I mean by that is Lloyd, Kai, and Nia are going to be the main ninja that the season is going to focus on, and they're going to get a lot of screen time and stuff to do. Meanwhile, when it comes to Zane, Cole, and Jay, the three of them are going to be getting considerably less to do since they're not going along with the rest of the team. And this is something that I'm not really the biggest fan of, because this is the exact same kind of scenario that we got for the Ninja during Season 1 of Dragons Rising, and the writer said that when it came to Kai, Jay, Cole, Zane, and Nia, Dragons Rising would be switching around which of these ninja would be getting the focus when it came to the different seasons. But again, it looks like Season 2 of Dragons Rising is just going to be doing the same thing that Season 1 of Dragons Rising did, which is something that I'm not really the biggest fan of, because I want to see all the ninja get proper focus and stuff to do when it comes to the season. Yet again, it looks like Season 2 is just going to be doing the same thing that Season 1 did, which again, I'm not really the biggest fan of that. So again, when it comes to the ninja team splitting up, as well as the season handling the focus of the ninja during the season, like I said, this is something that I'm not really looking forward to. But finally, there is one last thing about Season 2 of Dragons Rising that I want to talk about when it comes to the stuff that I am really looking forward to, and the final thing that I want to talk about is Lloyd. Lloyd was by far my favorite part of Season 1 of Dragons Rising, and I am really looking forward to getting more stuff with him during Season 2 of Dragons Rising, because it looks like Season 2 is going to be doing a lot of really interesting things with Lloyd. For starters, we have Lloyd being a conduit for the Source Dragons, and it looks like this is going to be a very big thing given Lloyd's visions that he's getting during the season, and given the big impact that his visions are going to have on him. I am wondering what being a conduit for the Source Dragons is going to mean for Lloyd during the season, as well as also what this means for Lloyd in the long run when it comes to Dragons Rising, and how this is ultimately going to affect him. Again, this is something that I'm honestly really looking forward to, and I can't wait to see how Season 2 is going to explore this. But another big thing that I'm really looking forward to is Season 2 of Dragons Rising expanding upon stuff with Lloyd as a master. This was a very big part of Lloyd's story during Season 1 of Dragons Rising, so I really like that when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising, we're going to be getting a continuation of this, and this is something that we've seen in a few different areas when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising, with stuff like some of the trailers that we've been getting, plus the sets giving us the Master Lloyd minifigure, and again, I cannot wait to see Season 2 of Dragons Rising expand upon this stuff. Also, speaking of the Master Lloyd minifigure, if the set leaks are to be believed, it looks like we're going to be getting a Master Cole minifigure that's going to be released with the summertime sets. So it looks like when it comes to the rest of the original ninja, they might also end up becoming masters at different points during the events of Dragons Rising, which I think could be an interesting idea, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens for that. But when it comes to Master Lloyd specifically, again, this is something that I am really looking forward to. But finally, there's one last thing that I am really hoping that we get a chance to see when it comes to Lloyd during Season 2 of Dragons Rising, and that's Season 2 of Dragons Rising continuing to fix Lloyd's character. Something that I'm really glad Season 1 of Dragons Rising did was fix Lloyd's character after the pretty poor handling of it during Crystallize, because I feel like when it came to Crystallize, that season did a pretty bad job at handling Lloyd's character, with the season essentially undoing so much character work and character development that Lloyd had gone through over the events of the show, especially during the WoW Reign era, and I really like that Season 1 of Dragons Rising was able to fix a lot of stuff when it came to Lloyd's character, and I even made an entire video discussing that. And something that I'm really hoping Season 2 of Dragons Rising does is continue on with the fixing of Lloyd's character, hopefully by addressing stuff revolving around Harumi and Garmadon, because I feel like those were by far two of the worst aspects of Lloyd's character during the events of Crystallize, and Season 1 of Dragons Rising didn't really address Harumi or Garmadon at any point, so I am hoping that Season 2 of Dragons Rising will end up addressing that kind of stuff, and hopefully we do get some stuff that fixes Lloyd's character during Season 2 of Dragons Rising, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But either way, I am really looking forward to the stuff that we're going to be getting with Lloyd during Season 2 of Dragons Rising. But finally, it's time for me to talk about the thing that I am most not looking forward to when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising, and out of all the stuff in Season 2 of Dragons Rising that I am really not looking forward to, the biggest thing that I'm not looking forward to would easily have to be Cinder. I am really not looking forward to stuff when it comes to Cinder, and the big reason why is because Cinder is going to be the new Elemental Master of Smoke. Something that I really did not enjoy when it came to season 1 of Dragon's Rising was the season having this whole trend of it introducing us to new characters that had the powers of old characters. This is something that we saw with characters like Euphrasia and Ericor, and personally, I really didn't like that trend, and this is a big reason why I'm not really the biggest fan of either of these characters. Mainly because, in my opinion, when it comes to Dragon's Rising doing this whole trend of introducing us to these new characters that have the powers of old characters, personally, I find this trend to be kind of pointless. Mainly because the show already had these characters who either had certain powers or they had a certain role when it came to the show, and they were still around and they could still be included in the story. Yet, when it comes to Dragon's Rising, it's introducing us to these new characters who are just taking on the roles and, in some cases, the powers of the old characters. And so, when it comes to Dragon's Rising, it feels like it's introducing us to all these new characters essentially just as a way to replace some of the older characters, which is something that personally I really don't like, mainly because, like I said, the show already had these characters, so why are we being introduced to their replacements? In my opinion, this doesn't really make the most amount of sense. But also, when it comes to the show doing this, I also think it's kind of unfair to the people who do like the old characters and the people who want to see more stuff with them. But now, that kind of thing is less likely to happen because, like I said, Dragon's Rising is essentially introducing us to these new characters who are basically just meant to replace the old characters. And I understand that Dragon's Rising is trying to create its own identity and is trying to set itself apart compared to the previous era of Ninjago. But if I'm being honest with you guys, it feels like a lot of the times when it comes to Dragon's Rising doing this kind of thing of creating its own identity, a lot of the times it feels like it's coming at the cost of a lot of the older stuff, mainly in the form of Dragon's Rising introducing us to these new things that are essentially just meant to replace the old things, which is something that honestly I really don't like. However, when it comes to Cinder specifically, I am really not looking forward to stuff with him, because when it comes to Cinder, he is the new Elemental Master of Smoke. And the last Elemental Master of Smoke that we had in the show was Ash, a character who we haven't seen in the show ever since Season 4, but the last time we did see Ash, we saw that he was alive. However, according to Doc Wyatt, when it comes to Ash, he is dead. This is something that Doc Wyatt seemingly confirmed in a tweet. And this is the biggest reason why I'm really not looking forward to stuff with Cinder when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, because he is a permanent reminder that the show killed off an old character just to introduce their replacement. And this is an idea that I really, really do not like, because this just takes all the problems that I had with the show introducing us to new characters that have the powers of old characters, and it just makes things even worse than they already were. Especially since I honestly don't really understand why the show would do this kind of thing, because Ash was still around and the show could still do stuff with him. So why kill him off just to introduce his replacement? If you ask me, that doesn't make any sense at all. And again, this is going to be the biggest reason why I'm not looking forward to stuff with Cinder in Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, and why I can guarantee you guys I am not going to like him when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, because again, Cinder is a permanent reminder that the show killed off an old character just to introduce that character's replacement, which is something that I really, really do not like. So again, when it comes to Cinder, I am really not looking forward to stuff with him during Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, and I can guarantee you guys that when it comes to Cinder, he is probably going to be one of my biggest problems with Season 2, just because again, he's a permanent reminder that the show killed off an old character just to introduce that character's replacement. And so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Now, when it comes to Season 2 of Dragon's Rising, there are definitely aspects about Season 2 that I'm really looking forward to, but at the same time, there's also some aspects about Season 2 that personally I'm really not looking forward to all that much. So when it comes to Season 2 and what my overall thoughts on it are going to be, I'm honestly not super sure, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens when we finally get the release of Season 2 of Dragon's Rising later on this week. And as for what I am going to think about Season 2 of Dragons Rising, well, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But again, there's definitely some things about Season 2 that I'm really looking forward to, but there's also some things that I'm not really looking forward to. And so that's pretty much all I got for you guys. So tell me down below, what do you guys think? Tell me, what are some of the things that you guys are, and what are some of the things you guys are not looking forward to when it comes to Season 2 of Dragons Rising? Again, tell me down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Later, guys, this is Dimension Master Studios, signing off.